I've been waiting for this. Now I can finally finish my build. No, the gear loft is on back order. Shit, okay, I can't finish my build. It's okay, we can install the rest of the things. I've got the dirt bag. Wow, this is pretty cool, hey? 2 of these cargo, what are they called? 2 Sidekick cargo packs, and these are gonna go right on the doors. Before I finish this unboxing, I should probably bring you up to speed on what I am doing. Last summer, I spent 5 weeks living out of my F-150 with a build that was great for the weekend warrior, but not so good for living out of the truck for multiple weeks at a time with unpredictable weather. After really getting to know my build, I decided to make a major upgrade. I just spent a lot of money on a camper sight unseen. So I drove all the way to Michigan to get the Super Pacific X1 installed on my F-150, was waiting for the shipment, kind of built out my kitchen setup, and now we're here finishing off the truck. We got a couple of items on back order. So we have these storage bags. It's like Christmas. Brackets, more brackets, a shelf with hardware. This is gonna be really handy for my charge wall. Molle panel. I just want to say this is not sponsored. I paid for all this stuff, but like I love Super Pacific's branding and all their products. I just love that their little logo is on everything. Great job. Molle panel 2, Molle panel 3, Molle panel 4. Well, as you can see, that is a lot of Molle panels, so I have a lot of work to do. Not only installing all of this stuff in the truck, but then also figuring out where everything is going to go, which is like my favorite part of doing stuff like this, but also kind of the most difficult because you have to make a lot of decisions, and if you don't like the way it is, you have to uninstall everything, which is like such a pain in the ass. There's no edit undo. And then I also ordered a new Molle panel for the back seat. We're gonna install all of the Super Pacific stuff, and we're also gonna install the new one inside the truck. Okay, so you might all be thinking, why are you doing this in the rain? Like, why not wait for a better day? And my answer is, there's rain for an entire week in the forecast and I have to get this project done, so I'm not letting the rain stop me. But it's a great test to see how the awning interacts with the Super Pacific. Now, if you haven't seen some of the first videos, or any of my videos really, I've had this problem with my last setup where when the awning came around, there was this triangular gap between my tent and the awning, and it allowed rain to pour onto my tailgate when it was raining out, which made it incredibly annoying when the tailgate is the place that you're supposed to be cooking off of, and the rain is basically dripping onto your stove. And I'm happy to say that the door for the back of the Super Pacific covers that triangular piece right there, preventing water from coming onto the tailgate. So I am very thrilled about that. One of the things that I wanted to have as a solution for this build was to deal with that. There is a little bit of water running down the side of the truck there. I think that's fine. I mean, obviously we're still outside, it's still raining. It is what it is, but the fact that it's not on the tailgate right now is awesome. And I think that you can get a rain drain, so I might look into picking up something like that. I'm gonna put in some of my Molle panels, and I have to make some decisions today on where things are gonna go and how it's going to look. Here's what I'm thinking. I've got 2 flat Molle panels and 2 offset Molle panels. So I'm kind of breaking the truck up into like cooking area and like sitting area and then like storage area. The space is so small. This is the dimensions right here of what the truck bed is. So it's gonna be pretty tight. So my plan is, because the heater sticks off of the door quite a bit, I'm gonna line this side with the offset Molle panels to give that some space. Oh no. I still wanted to access my little box. Oh, this is gonna be very complicated. I have to think about it a little bit more. I just realized that I could have built these inside, then brought them out and installed them. So now I'm installing them very carefully, because if I lose one of these screws down in the deck system, well, I'm really wish that I did this inside before I did the, that's not like touching the heater. Is that allowed? Okay, that's one done, but I'm not loving how tight that panel is to that heater. So I might have to go pick up a couple of extra washers just to pull it off a little bit. I would just love it to just not be squat. This one is flat. Wrong, 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 wrong. I think I was supposed to put this on before. Well, I fucked up. I really fucked up. I have to say, I'm having the coziest little day out here. The temperature is perfect. It's not too hot or humid. It is pouring out and it is so dry in here. Kind of want to like go and do like a rain camp, like specifically do it in the rain. With 3 of us traveling in the truck, every inch of usable space really needed to be set up right. I had this fabric seat organizer that started looking pretty scratty after a couple years, so it was time to deal with that. Oh, huh. That's where the other stretch it went. Just wondering where that was. After doing a wilderness first aid course a few months ago, I realized that my little DIY first aid kit was not nearly robust enough for the truck, so I took everything I learned and applied it to this kit. Also, now that we have a furry adventure buddy, she also needed her own first aid kit, so I reused the old bag I had for hers. Okay, well, that was actually really worth the effort. Shout out to my buddy Austin Claiborne who recommended this setup. He had it in his truck when we were in Arizona. I was like, ooh, yes, please, that's it. Kitted out first aid kit based off of everything that I learned at the Get Outdoors safety and survival training. Also, I got a dog first aid kit for Chopper. There's some different stuff in there. In the bottom pouch, I've just got like some basic tools, Max Trax kit, like a little hammer, some levels, things like that, just easy to access. And then there's like just a bug spray pouch, and then some of the other tools that I'll likely not need to use all the time are in the pouch behind the seat. And the reason why I got that spacer, because Austin recommended me get it, but also I'll be able to access that there too. Whereas if I didn't, that Molle panel would be completely tight to the seat and I would not be able to use the pocket. So that's great. Hopefully I can remember those tools are there. The rest of my Super Pacific order finally arrived, which actually worked out since it gave me some time to start thinking about my final layout. That ended up being a little more bungly than I was expecting. It actually worked out really well that I had to take this off because I didn't actually have the shelf on properly. Last time I kind of like half-assed attaching it. So this time I did it properly, and also I had to move the shelf down 1 notch so that I could fit the center Molle panel in. So I'm glad I did that. That's done properly there now. And so this side is going to end up being kind of a charge wall. So the shelf is going to house the anchor battery. That worked really well last time. Now I'm going to have to put the straps and, you know, put all these cables back in. We'll do cable management later. And then I got this Helinox Molle panel bag, and basically I'm just going to use this for, you know, extra cables, you know, dongles, tech stuff, all that there right underneath the charge wall. So next, I'm gonna put up the gear loft. So the Super Pacific has T-track along all of the edges, which is super convenient. Anyway, I'm stoked about this. This is how they attach, and this is the gear loft. I think it's gonna be absolutely mint. So Chris and I, we like to watch movies when we're camping, especially if I'm solo. I love watching my YouTube videos. And so we have like a suction ram mount. It's actually left a couple marks here, but for my iPad Air. So I'm just gonna mount this strategically so that it doesn't get in the way of where that is, so we can still put stuff in the gear loft and mount the iPad for movies. The gear loft will give us a handy spot to stash our stuff, and more importantly, peace of mind knowing that Chopper is not gonna be able to mess with any cables laying loose on the pass-through. With that out of the way, there's still a few bits and pieces left to install, but the big task is finalizing the layout and moving everything in. But that's coming up in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.